Hello and welcome to Real Chat with Kat, the podcast dedicated to igniting your entrepreneurial spirit and empowering you to conquer new horizons. In this podcast, we chat with inspiring entrepreneurs on their journey to success through some amazingly insightful and expansive conversations. These episodes thrive on thought-provoking chats where our guests fearlessly explore their path to success, sharing their experiences, failures, and triumphs. No topic is off limits as we deep dive into the talked about and not so talked about pieces it takes to build a business, overcome limiting beliefs, deal with personal struggles, and everything in between that shapes our lives and our businesses. I'm your host, Kat Polsinelli, creator and founder at The Lotus Effect, where we believe that success is not just about strategies and tactics, it's about cultivating a powerful mindset and creating customized business operations that align with you and your true purpose. Whether it's mastering time management, improving productivity, enhancing leadership skills, or simply fostering a growth-oriented mindset, we'll provide you with the tools and strategies to flourish in both your business and personal life. I'm so excited to have you join us today in this episode, so get ready to feel empowered and inspired as we learn together and from one another on how to rise above challenges, break through limitations, and unlock our full potential. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Real Chat with Kat. I am so excited to have you here with us today, and I have a wonderful guest. I'm super excited to have this conversation with him, and I think that there are going to be so many takeaways, so make sure you got a pen and piece of paper out. So Simon, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast.
Hi, Katerina. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone.
Hello. You guys, I love this so much because he pronounces my name the way the Italians say it. It's beautiful. So anyway, as we get started into the podcast, Simon, do us all a favor and tell us who you are, what it is that you do, and what got you into this space.
Sure. So Simon Severino, I'm a sales coach. I'm coaching entrepreneurs since 22 years on how they enter the market, crush it in the market, and stay in the market. It's everything marketing and sales. I came to this completely by left field because I majored in psychology and philosophy. So basically I was broke and needed a job, right? A real job. And I was lucky because those were the times where you could get a job at one of the big strategy advisories worldwide if you had just the best grades. You had to show them that you have the best grades. And so I had the best grades. I got a job, and I did fall in love with this marketing and sales topics because 80% of that is psychology. And so I was actually in my home turf, and I loved it. And I'm in love with it. Every day I help entrepreneurs from California to Singapore to Dubai to improve their marketing and sales. And it's so funny because it's about human beings, it's about being helpful, and it's very, very creative. So it never gets boring for me.
I love that. And I love that you have the background in psychology. So my background is in medical. And that was actually one of my favorite classes was when I took psychology. I enjoyed that one more than anything. What I think is really interesting is that you really focus on that when it comes to marketing and sales, because what I have noticed with entrepreneurs, especially, is anytime you bring up the word marketing and sales, it's like everybody's stomach drops and you hear like this, oh, I don't want to have to do kind of a thing. So what do you feel like your twist is that makes it just flow so much easier and more natural? I know that you said you bring the person into it. So give me some information.
Well, sales is oxygen. How much fun is life without oxygen? So, oxygen is not the most important thing. You don't wake up in the morning and go, how can I maximize my oxygen intake today? No. You just need it to be around. And it was easier 5 years ago. You could say, oh, sales is lazy. I don't do any sales. I just do good work. And then good work will spread. They will send their friends, which is okay. And it used to work 5 years ago. before everybody else got onto the internet, and now everybody is out there and everybody has some service that they offer online, and they made it up, obviously, but they compete now with you. So they go out there, they build a landing page and say, I am incredibly expert in this. I learned this 2 weekends and now I can offer this. They're competing directly with you. So many people are thinking twice, maybe I should hate marketing and sales a little bit less, because I actually need to stand out there, right? I want people to see me, and then I have to move them from awareness to interest to engagement to actually work together. Also, how does life feel if you have to work with everybody who wants to work with you? It's terrible. I want to pick and choose. Like, you are picky with your guests, and you should be. Everybody should be picky with their clients. Don't work with everybody. There are clients that are zero fun. Zero.
Yes.
You should work with them. So be picky. But how can you be picky? Only if you have a full pipeline. And so I have devoted every day of the last 22 years into helping people have a pipeline that's so full that they can pick and choose.
I love this so much because I feel like I preach this when I am talking to my clients, especially for those that are newer in the business, and which you tend to hear a lot is, I just want to help everyone. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No,
you
don't.
Yes, we are in a space where we know that we can do good. We know that we can help change lives. We know that we can offer something that's going to make a difference. And everybody is in a different area of their journey, and someone may be 5-10 steps behind in their journey, and that person is not actually going to align with what it is that you are wanting to teach, nor are they going to take in the information in a way that is actually going to serve them, because they aren't ready to receive it yet. So I love that you bring that up, because there's so much in that, and I think that not enough salespeople talk about this, because they all talk about getting all of this stuff and get you all these leads and get you all these qualified people. I don't want all of them. Don't send me 30 people a month. I don't want it. I want to work with specifics. So when you're talking about this, then how do you even start the process of understanding how you want to narrow down who it is that you want to work with?
So when we coach people, we start with defining the ideal client and the anti-ideal client, and both 5 levels deep. So who is your ideal client? And then they go, all right, it's an entrepreneur. Okay. What else? Do they use, are they in a city or in a rural area? Are they male or female? Do they love sports or books? And so you can go much, much finer. And so we ask them to be 5 levels deep, to go really fine, because now you have your ideal client. And on the other side, it's the same sheet. It has the ideal 5 levels and the anti 5 levels. So also the 5 things that you will exclude. So for example, I don't work with them if they're Mac users, because I hate Mac users. Whatever it is in your world, right? And I only work with people who drive a Tesla. No, I only work with people who drive Fords. You pick and choose. You define your ideal client, your anti-ideal client. And that's the first exercise in a 90-day sprint. From there, then, okay, which problem do you help them solve? And this is where we walk them through a process that we call the strategic value. So what is it actually that you help them with? So the first question is, okay, this is your ideal client. What's the context? What's coming for them in the next 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? So maybe AI is coming, maybe blockchain is coming, maybe renewable energies are coming. What is coming for them that they have to be ready for? And do they have a plan? And how can you help them be ready for what's coming? So that's the second piece that they answer. And now with those 2 things, now we have a little bit more clarity. And the next thing is starting conversations with those ideal people and filtering out everybody else.
That simplifies it down so much though. Like I understand this. And when we think of asking people who is your ideal client, there's so much room for generalization. I think it's hard for people to understand how to knock it down. So I love that you talk about these 5 levels of being able to really go deeper. And I love the concept, and I've only actually heard this concept from one other person, about having an anti-person, right? Or the person you don't want to work with. And to me, that makes so much sense, because I feel like sometimes it's easier to define who you don't want to work with first. And then that helps bring clarity to more of who you do want to work with, because obviously it's going to be the opposites, or, something far away from that type of person. So I love that you dive into that, because that to me makes so much sense. And especially in the way that most people's brains work, we do tend to pay attention to the negatives. And so being able to see what you don't want allows you to establish the boundaries that you are willing and not willing to put up with in your business, to then move you forward to make sure that this person, your ideal customer avatar, is matching those boundaries, right?
Absolutely. And this creates clarity. And now you know who to target. Now you can go to the next step, which is, okay, where do they hang out? And this is not where do you like to hang out. So my problem, for example, I love to hang out on YouTube and on X. But my people, my clients, they actually hang out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I
Yeah, makes
found
sense.
LinkedIn so boring. I just didn't do anything there. It's so boring, enterprisey, all buttoned up. Oh, we are also inclusive here and ESG. Oh my God, kill me. So nobody's talking real, right? Like we are talking. They are all just buttoned up and so polite and so boring. So I said, okay, I can't do this. And I went to YouTube and I just was talking to real people like I am, right? And then I asked myself, wait a moment, Simon, are you using the strategy sprints method here? You are not using it yourself. Where do they hang out and take their decision? They're B2B people. So they hang out on LinkedIn. You have to go back there. Oh, but it's boring. Okay, then find a way to make it fun. What is it that is boring? Yeah, not talking really like you would talk to a friend. Okay, start a WhatsApp group with 5 friends, commit to posting daily on LinkedIn. And now in the comments, you talk like you really talk to them, and they talk to you like they really talk. You call each other out, you make jokes. There is sarcasm, and there is some truth, and like actually people talk, right? And so we started this WhatsApp group, and then we realized, wow, this is working. And then LinkedIn started saying, boom, your impressions went up 70%. Boom, your impressions went up 450%. And from there, it escalated because it was very successful. And now we have dozens of those WhatsApp groups running, and we collect pockets of clients who need that little push to be present in the B2B space where they actually want to have clients, but they find it boring, or for some reason they don't do it every day. They don't show up to do the work every day. And so now we create these pockets. We call them expansion teams. And that's pretty fun. So sometimes you innovate by tackling where you're stuck, something that's an obstacle. If you have an obstacle, then, well, that becomes the work, right? If I find that boring and I avoid it, then that avoidance, that's the work of this week. Find a way to make that less boring.
I love that. I love that you saw the problem and realized that it may not necessarily have a great solution, but there's always an opportunity to create a great solution, right? So I love that you leaned into something that you knew that you enjoy, you knew that you were good at, and you knew that you wanted to provide. And we're like, well, we'll just create our own thing. Because I agree with you. I stayed off LinkedIn for a really long time because I was like, oh my goodness, it's just all these business people and I'm not that businessy and I like to have fun and I cuss and like, it's not going to work. But being able to find my tribe and those that were hanging out there and then creating those spaces. And we do the same thing. We're constantly commenting on each other's things and making jokes and doing stuff like that and bringing those real conversations in, which has actually made LinkedIn a very different space, or at least what I am seeing, right? I'm sure that there are still some very buttoned up places on LinkedIn, but the space that I have created and the people that I have connected with align with how I want to do business. So I love that you created a WhatsApp group as well to help with accountability and helping each other to stay top of mind so that you get to push the algorithm, but you also get to push the types of people that are then coming into the spaces through the algorithm. I love these algorithms.
Well, it's about keeping up the show up rate. So when we lead, the point is finding momentum into showing up however we feel. Because the obstacle is, oh, today I don't have anything to share, I'm not going to show up. Perfectionism comes in. And in that moment, it's really important to overcome your ego. It's not about us. It's about who we are here to serve and actually being of service, being in service every day. Whatever the weather, whatever I feel, it doesn't matter what I feel. I'm here to serve a specific demographic to solve a problem. In my case, I'm here to serve entrepreneurs, have a full pipeline. So it doesn't absolutely matter my perfectionism, my ego, my needs. Absolutely doesn't matter. Every day, I think of them. What do they need right now? And I will share one thing. And so everybody has their little reasons why they don't do it. And being in such a group basically strips you off of all your excuses. And then everybody goes, come on, Katerina, why didn't you post today?
I love that. And I think it's so important to have that community and that support and that accountability. And I think that the internet has stripped us from that severely. I do think that there are some people that do it very well, that have created communities. I'm in several of them. And there is a large majority of social media that has completely stripped us from being close to other people. And I agree with you 100%. There are times when we have to lean into our own fears and we have to realize what it is that's holding us back. And it's also nice every once in a while to be able to tell someone else, like, hey, this is kind of what's going on, and allow someone else to lend you their support or lend you their bravery or lend you their courage so that you can continue to step up. And I think that that is the difference between doing entrepreneurship on your own and building people around you that are also going to lift you up in a community in a supportive way.
Totally. So I run a B2B mastermind where we help people with their pipeline, right? They have to sell to Coca-Cola. How do I get Coca-Cola onto my calendar? How do I get even a meeting, etc.? And so it's a high ticket mastermind, super serious stuff. And members are ex-head of Google who are now on their own, etc. Today, I've invited an 18-year-old YouTuber to be part of that mastermind. He can't afford the mastermind, of course. I said, hey, come on, you get a free seat, but jump in because your energy, you being 18, you bring something, a superpower into that group that we all guys don't have, right? You look at the world in a different way. You represent a full demographic of people who look at the world in that way. Bring that energy, bring that. Of course, he wants to be a YouTuber, right? And he's amazing at that. He's really good at that. I want to support him and I want to bring that energy in there. As you say, we are not alone when we build something. We are in a collective field. And the more we acknowledge that and nurture that and cultivate that, the more all our actions feed that field. And the field feeds back. So when we ask for help and we have cultivated that field, and now 3 weeks later, I'm asking for help because I'm also a YouTuber, a mediocre YouTuber. So at some point in 3 weeks, I say, guys, how should I actually do the thumbnails? And he will probably help me.
Yeah. I love that though, because I feel like there is this space in marketing and sales for a really long time that was so stuck on competition that there was no joint ventures. There was no, I can learn from other people. And I feel like that is starting to kind of fall apart at the seams. It's still there, but I feel like it's falling apart at the seams. But I love that you bring this concept of, I help you, you help me, we give, and then things grow from that. Like there's such a beauty behind that type of generosity, and the reciprocity that comes back from that to me is like times 10, because you don't view people as your competition, and you realize that even if someone is doing something that is almost identical to what I am doing, they don't bring the same energy, they don't bring the same personality, and I guarantee you they're going to teach it completely different than the way I do, because their brain, their perception, right, is completely different than how I see it. So great. So the people that I don't want to work with, you can have, and the people you don't want to work with may be perfect for me. But there's a difference in the way that when you are selling to people and when you're having conversations with other people, seeing them as a way to learn and to grow versus, oh, they're my competition, I can't speak with them. They're my I can't tell them what it is that I do.
And the market is not limited. It's not like a pizza and I cut a piece and then it's less pizza. It's growing. It's a full pizzeria and it's expanding the more we visit it. So the market is not finite. The market is dynamic. It's increasing in market shares. The more good work happens there, the bigger the market for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's being able to see it in a different light and realizing that it is never ending, instead of seeing that there is an end in sight. And I agree with you. I don't think that there is. I think it's ever expanding. So now you stated earlier about taking a person through a process from meeting you to engagement and then basically to becoming a client. Do you feel like that process has lengthened over the last couple of years, that people are a little bit, do you feel like the nurturing process is longer?
Yeah. Right now, many people report, and I'm seeing entrepreneurs every week, around 60, 70 entrepreneurs from all countries around the globe and all the industries. And the one thing that I hear is it takes me much longer. My pipeline is drying up. My buyers are cautious. They're thinking twice. They are delaying buys that they were committed, but they are delaying them to Q3, Q4. So there are delays and there are cautious buyers, because in many countries, people don't know if their economy is going to grow or stagnate or even have negative growth. Possible recessions is what people are thinking about. So right now, everybody cautious about spending. And now both the Monday sessions, the one-on-one sessions are really dedicated to how to strengthen the pipeline. Both, where do you find the people that are your ideal people? How do you qualify out the wrong people faster? How do you spend more time with the right people in the right conversations? How can you improve your offer to be even more relevant, more vital to them, so that they don't think about delaying it, because it's actually vital. And so they need it now. They want it now. And those are the 8 steps that I'm teaching right now, and we practice them. I get their sales recordings and I help them refine the wordings, the offer. And by doing that, they increase both their pricing power and their win rate. And those are the 2 things that we want to improve.
I love that. And you said something that caught my attention as well. You said making the client understand that it's vital. And that's something that I've only heard a few people talk about, is you want them to understand that this is something that they need. It's not just a want that could potentially, right, quote unquote, help in their business. It is a need. So like, you do not want to miss this. How do you feel like you help people craft that? Because I feel like people get lost in that message, especially women. I've seen this myself and with a lot of other women entrepreneurs where they've never really been taught how to sell what it is that they're good at. They feel like they should just give. So where is that line at?
Same with men, by the way. A typical coach, we're coaching a ton of coaches and consultants and advisors and trainers. And typically I ask them, okay, what is it that you sell and what does it solve? And say, okay, Simon, my ideal client is an ambitious leader and I help them lead better. I'm not buying this. I don't need this. I'm a leader, but you just offered nothing. I don't know what I'm getting, and I don't need this. As a leader, I need people, I need results, I need cost reduction, I need a full pipeline, right? I need some fun in the meetings. You've talked about none of those things. So we have to be very clear, 5 levels deep, also in a way that's targetable. You cannot even go on LinkedIn and look for ambitious leader. There is nothing that says this person is ambitious.
True.
What is it even, ambitious? I don't even know what it is, right? So we have to be much more specific. And then we have to pick one fight. Are you making them smarter, happier, or richer? Pick a fight. And now all your content, and it sounds like a slight difference. And the first answer is, well, I make a little bit of all of them. Okay, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. You will have a little bit of effect everywhere. But if you want the full pipeline, now you pick one of those 3. And I give you an example. And I can show you people in social media who do it really, really well. So if you pick smarter, your communication on LinkedIn will be visuals, will be breakdown of your industry's terms or stuff that's happening, right? Hey guys, this happened today. This is how I would break it down for your world right now. And then there is an actual breakdown. It's either a 5-minute video or a visualization, and you break down complex things for them. Now you're making them smarter. Your banner on LinkedIn will be about that. It will be visualizing things, breaking things down. And you will say, subscribe to get breakdowns every week. And it will be very clear for them. Banner, topic, call to action are aligned. Do I want to be smarter? Yes, okay, I'm subscribing. Click, hit the bell. If you pick smarter. If you pick happier, it's different. Right? Then it's more like a yoga class, or there is some spiritual part. Come on, let's manifest the best. And then I see some gold raining, and or I see relationships. Right? This is especially good for couple therapists, for example, marriage therapists, and mindset coaches. And then you talk about that stuff, and then you post about the Dalai Lama, and you post about how your children really triggered you today, but you didn't kill them. And this is how I did not kill my children today. This is what I did. That's breath work.
I can work on that one. I can totally make a whole month's worth of posts and more.
Exactly. That's happy if you pick happy. And then there is, or you make them rich. This is what I have picked. And I said, guys, I'm going to add 200,000 to your life if you work with me. That's it. The 200K club. Join the 200K club. I can add 200K to your life. And now every post is about how to improve some part of the pipeline at the beginning or the middle or the end, right? I'm talking adding money to you. I'm devoted to your pipeline being stronger, right? I will make you richer if we work together. So you pick one of those, and then you stay your lane for a couple months, this will make it so clear. Now you are referable. Also, remarkable. It's easy to make remarks about you. Hey, go to Katerina. She makes you happier. You look grumpy. Go to Katerina. She makes you happier. Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, you have sales problems? Call Simon. He makes you richer. So it's easier to refer. It's easier to stay top of mind. For which topic should I save this person? We meet so many people during the week. If you make it easy for them to remember, oh, that topic, that person, cool, saved.
That is so true, because I meet with so many people, whether it's in a network call or on my podcast. And you're so right. There are key pieces that I pick out in a conversation that help me understand what it is that they do and who I could potentially send to them. But if we do have a very generalized conversation and it is a little all over the place about what it is that you do, and I get that you want to offer all of the things that you do, you are totally right. I usually do not remember that person. Like, they'll be there for a week or two, and then by the time I meet with other people or talk with other guests, they're
You see?
already out.
And that's why their pipeline will dry up. But some of them you will remember, and you will save one topic. That's their topic. That's their superpower. That's what they stand for. And you will even maybe remember even their name, or you will stay connected on LinkedIn, and they will stay top of mind. So now when somebody asks you, oh my God, I have this problem, you will say, oh, call that person.
Yeah. It's the
That's
same
the
thing
difference.
it's the same thing for when I'm referring people to other podcasts. If I am on a podcast and we have a good conversation, but I don't feel that there was a lot of depth, I'm going to remember your podcast at least for a little bit. But the moment that I have 4, 5, 6 podcasts that are like, oh my gosh, this conversation was beautiful, we touched on so many things, I think we taught the audience so much, those people stay top of mind. And those are the ones that get my referrals when I have other people that come to me that are looking to be on other podcasts as well. I love how simplistic you made it, though, on choosing one of those 3 topics. That is the first time I have ever heard of doing something like that. You take something that honestly is such a wide topic, but it's so specific to how you innately help someone that it makes it so simple to be able to go back to that one word, that one phrase.
Yeah. Now we have clarified what you actually solve for them, right? The money problem, the time problem, the happiness problem. Now we can move on and say, okay, how do we package it in a way? Because buying from somebody is always risky. If I buy your program and it's $15,000, my God, what if I'm wasting my time, my money, my reputation because I bought something which was wrong? I'm an idiot. So those are 3 big fears. Am I wasting money? Am I wasting time? Am I destroying my reputation? So it's risky. So the next thing is, how can you package your offer to de-risk it? How can you reduce risk for the buyer and make it easy for them to buy? So that's the next piece that we work on. And then when we have solved that, then how can we make the sales repeatable and even some parts automated so that they happen on repeat? Then we have solved the sales problem. Now, the next bottleneck is adding people for the delivery and adding people who do the sales. Now you can fire yourself from operations and you have time. This is what I did 5 years ago. I fired myself from operations, and now I have a lot of time to be on podcasts, to be in Italy and at the beach, and to do more fun things than just working.
I love this so much, though, that you fired yourself, because we talk about, that you don't need to do all of the things in your business, like know where your zone of genius is and be okay with delegating that work out. And I get that that's not the easiest in the beginning. And sometimes in the beginning, you don't even know what you're the best at. But I love that you use the term, I fired myself. That is sticky. That is staying. I'm stealing your phrase because that's an interesting way to put it versus bring someone in to help you. I realize that this is not my zone. And if I was a business owner or someone was in business with me, they would fire me for not being able to do that job or move me to a different area. And that's the same thing you're doing in your own business. You're firing yourself from where you do not enjoy or where you do not process things well, or it makes things longer and takes more time. And you put yourself in that space that you know you are going to illuminate in.
Yeah, illuminate is the right word, because when you're doing your zone of genius task, which is maybe 15% of all the business, then you are actually, you light up, you are on fire, right? That's why we say somebody's on fire. They're doing the one thing that they're good at. For most people, it's around 15% of all these business tasks. It's not everything. Nobody enjoys IT, marketing, sales, operations, client work, and everything, and legal, and
Yeah.
and solving a landing page. No. So if you pick your 15% where you're really good at, bit by bit, you can delegate the rest and build a team. And there is software and there is freelancers. There is wonderful stuff that can help you. We're helping entrepreneurs every day, using software, using freelancers to get rid of 75% of the stuff that they find boring or are not great at. And when they just do their zone of genius, yes, they're on fire and much more fun. So I fired myself from operations, then from marketing, and now I'm just doing the few things that I like doing: is writing books, being on podcasts, enjoying my community, the 200K club, these kind of things.
And I think that also allows you to have a different type of energy that you bring to other people, right? There's a difference in handling all the things and trying to meet with a client and trying to help them with their issues versus being able to say, I already know this is handled. Now I can be fully present with you, because you really do not have the ability to do that when you hop on a call, no matter how much you try. If you are the one that are handling all of the things, you're getting mixed up in your operations, in your marketing, in those processes, in those workflows. And then you basically have to switch gears, because now you've got to be the coach, or you've got to be the person that's providing something for somebody else. And all that stuff is still kind of running in the background, and it's draining a lot of your energy. So you're not even able to actually fully be present to help someone the way that you know that you can. And I've seen this one happen a lot with people where they're like, I know I went into that call and I wasn't what I needed to be. Well, yeah, because you've expensed everything else out of you instead of allowing yourself the space to really energize yourself and to be present in that moment.
And it's much easier than people picture. Everybody thinks the moment they hand over the client work to somebody else, everything will collapse. So I told my wife, when it was my turn to do that, first client onboarded and then handed over to another coach to coach them. And I told my wife, Monday, I'm going to hand over the first client. And she goes, hand over to whom? You are the business, right? They trust you. They come for you. They read the book. They come for you, right? They come from your network. And I said, yeah, it's true. But it's not the person that delivers the results. It's the process. And I have started to teach the process to other people. I trust them to apply the process. Like when you go to a yoga class, it's not really the yoga teacher. Yoga teachers, they come and go. One of them is sick, the next one comes. But the process is always solid, right? The yoga process is solid. This asana, this asana, this asana, it works since thousands of years. It works since 1,000 years. So it's not really the teacher, it's the process. And so you all listeners, you have a process. Maybe you have it in your head. If it's in your head, write it down, write a book, write a series of videos, or create Google Docs about it. So get it out of your head. Now the process is out there. Now you can teach it to people. I started teaching it to people. It became a certification program. I got paid for teaching now my new colleagues. So that Monday came and I was sweaty. I was excited. I was panicky. And I said, "Oh, welcome to your sprint. Yes, you will double your revenue in 90 days. Yes, your slot is the Friday 2 p.m. slot. Congrats." And those are the 3 goals that you have picked for your sprint. And this is your coach. Enjoy. And they said, "Oh, cool, Simon. Yes, thank you. Okay. See you in the monthly coffee calls. And then on the 90th day when we celebrate and review." Okay. Go back to my wife. That was easy. They don't even miss me. And she goes, "Were you such a terrible coach?" I said, "No, I don't think so. I think it's about the process. It's not really about the person. They trust the process. And if I say this is your coach, they trust that I have ensured the quality is high."
Mm-hmm. That's so funny. And I think I would be the same way. Honest. I would be sweating bullets. But you're right. I mean, if you think about, other people that, you've worked with in the past, a lot of times it's the product that's being offered, like Amazon. Amazon sells from all kinds of people. It's never the same person when you buy something, but that Amazon's got it handled. So therefore it's fine as far as who you're getting it from, right? Same thing in your bigger retails, or I love the yoga. Like, that's such a great example, because I never thought about that. I think of all the times that I've been to classes and it's been another teacher and I'm like, oh yeah, we did the exact same thing. And I knew how it was going to go. So like, yes, I was kind of watching them for guidance, but like, I already knew what was going to happen. So it makes a lot of sense. I think that a lot of people have a hard time recognizing that they have a process that they can provide. So I love that you said, write a book, write it out, speak it into, video, like something to get it out of your head. But I think it's recognizing the pattern that you do in your business. And then that allows you to be able to see where the process lies.
And most people think, "Oh, I don't have a process." You have one. Otherwise, it wouldn't work, right? The reason why you have impact is you have a process. Next time, when you think you don't have a process, think about your yoga class, Pilates class, whatever it is that you have a class on. And then when you see that the teacher is sick and the next teacher comes and they have a slightly different accent, and maybe they do have a slightly different style of applying it, but you see that the backbone is the same. And specifically with the variations, oh, this person, they push me more into that pose and they want me to use more bands and less weights. And you will see, oh, this is the variation. So that's the backbone. The core process is even clearer when you see a variation. And yes, sometimes there are bad teachers, so they need to be trained, supervised, or fired to keep the quality high. Yeah, sometimes you have to change people.
Yeah.
But that's why it is a process. So it's not really dependent on you. And the business should not be something that imprisons you and that drives you all the time. It should be something that actually nurtures and funds your life. It should be the one thing that funds your lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. So as we come to a close, I've had so much fun speaking with you, Simon. There's so many nuggets in here. One of the things that I ask all of my guests is, do you happen to have a quote or a piece of advice you'd like to leave the audience with?
Whatever you are doing this week, write it down, write the list of activities down, and then cut it in half.
Ooh.
Do only half. So I use a similar technique. People can download it on strategysprints.com. It's called the daily flow. So I write down the list of activities, and then in the evening, I ask myself, which of those things will I delegate next? And delegate can be to the bin, to a software, to a freelancer, to a colleague. And it's okay to cut activities. And I think that's probably the most important habit to develop as an entrepreneur, is to cut activities. Find the few things that actually move the needle forward for you every week, and let the rest be for a second. Because most people are doing too much, and instead of quickly prioritizing and doing a few things that actually matter.
I agree with that 100%. I think that we live in a society that makes us feel like if we are not going all the time, that there is something wrong, but there is such a beauty in the peace and the space in between getting things done. And I think that can be translated in both business, but also in your personal life as well, for all the things that you are doing, because there are other ways to get things done, or like you said, delegate out to somebody else so that you get to free up your own time and space, because ultimately, in my opinion, that should be one of the most important things when you're building anything, is that. Oh,
Totally.
Thank you so much. That is such a beautiful note to end on. Okay, Simon, so then you have to tell everybody, how can they find you? How can they connect with you? How can they be in your world?
So those practices, they can be downloaded on strategysprints.com. If they want to read the book, it's called Strategy Sprints. It's on Amazon. They can grab the book and find a ton of it's like a cookbook. It's really practical on how to run a business, how to do marketing, how to do sales, how to hire. And then if they want to talk to us, they go to strategysprints.com and they hop on our calendar. I'm happy to talk.
I love that. And of course, we'll have all that information in the show notes. We'll make it super easy for you to be able to find and connect with Simon. And thank you again so much for all of your generous information and the value that you brought into the podcast today.
Thank you, Katerina, for showing up for your community with consistency.
Thank you. To everybody else out there, I hope you were taking notes and that you got some amazing takeaways. I'm pretty sure I just got my mind blown in several different areas. Again, we'll have all the information in the show notes for you so that you can connect with Simon. And until next time, don't forget, do one thing positive for someone each and every day and see the difference that it makes in your life. So until next time, have a fantastic day. Hello again, and thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. If you enjoyed this episode and it brought tons of value, we ask that you please share, like, and subscribe. Your support means the world to us and helps us to reach even more inspiring entrepreneurs who can benefit from these powerful conversations. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, as this feedback is an amazing gift that fuels our growth and helps us to continually improve this podcast. Looking for an extra dose of inspiration and empowerment? Then be sure to connect with me on social media. You can find me at The Lotus Effect, where I share valuable resources and tips while sharing my own journey of being an entrepreneur. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching programs and services, be sure to check out my website at the-lotus-effect.com. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of Real Chat with Kat. Your presence and support makes all the difference. Remember, whether you find yourself in the depths of the mud or on the path of growth, we all have a unique journey. And just like the lotus, some of us start in the dirtiest of mud, yet as we rise and grow, we blossom into something beautiful, unique, and truly one of a kind. To all of my visionaries out there, keep rising and growing as you create your own Lotus Effect.